Let's look at the Kuppet washing machine and spin dryer for van campers or RV. This is a review and tutorial. Come along with me as I show you how to use this Kuppet portable washing machine and spin dryer.
And as we get started, I want to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and definitely give me a like on the video. I've had this a couple of years now. My first one was the Best Choice washing machine and spin dryer, and I've done a video on that. I'm going to link it below. But when my husband redid the van camper for me, unfortunately, without realizing it, the space that we did have it in got lowered, so the Best Choice washing machine wouldn't fit anymore. My next option was the Kuppet. I use it a lot when I am camping, and this will do towels, this will do sheets, this will do small blankets, jeans, and pretty much anything else that I have thrown at it. I've got a couple of pieces that I'm just going to go ahead and wash just to show you how easy it is to do this. And let's go over the controls before we get started. We have our wash timer, and this we have soft. This is your type of washing you're doing. Your choices are soft and standard. Soft is going to be for your delicates. Standard is what I usually always leave it on. Then when you are ready to drain the water, switch the dial here. This is gravity fed and goes ahead and drains out. This is your spin timer. It's got up to 5. I very rarely have to run it past about 1.5. That being said, this is not a dryer per se. This spins the water out of the clothes. You're still going to have to hang them up to dry, or if you choose, you can use a traditional dryer at a laundromat. There's a few different ways that you can add water to the Kuppet. One is a bucket. Here I use a clean trash can. You can use a shower head or directly with the garden hose, whatever way you choose. Most of the time I'm doing this in a van camper, so when I'm out in the camper van, I'm just going to use a bucket. That's what I'm going to demonstrate to you today. If you're in an RV with hookups, like we actually are today, then you can use the shower head in the shower and just let it drain in the tub. This machine is smaller than what we use at home, but like I said, I can still wash a couple of sheets. I can wash a few towels. This is really low on electricity, so I actually can use it on my solar panel on my van camper
If I'm not out where there's electricity. Before you pour the water on top of your clothes, always check the settings, because if this is on drain, your water is going to run straight out. Now this is gray water. Most of the time you have to collect it and put it in the appropriate dump station, but some places it is allowed to just let this water drain onto the ground. But ask first, and if you do let it drain, don't do it near a field or a stream. Be considerate of the plants and the animals and the next guy. And if there is any doubt, pack it out.
But after we check everything, make sure it's on 0 and this is set to standard, and then just pour the water in. Since I'm using a bucket, it does have a couple of hoses. I'm going to have to get another bucket. It does have a hose, so if you want to input water straight from a tap right here, you can. I've not found this to be effective, and typically, like I said, use a bucket or the end of a hose or shower, but you can use whatever you've got.
Right now, I've got a bucket, and I'll be right back.
Laundry detergent. I like to use drops, but I forgot to get them when we left from home. With drops, just throw one in and you're done. Since I forgot to get it, we ran by the Dollar Tree and we got a Tide and a Downy. You don't use as much as you do for like a traditional washing machine because you're not washing large batches at a time. Okay, go with about 1/4 of a cap. And I pour it in there with the water. I leave the cap in so it'll rinse. Now, all right, last bucket of water. I'm just going to kind of gently rinse that out a little bit. You just toss it in there. Here we go. We have the electricity hooked up, so we're just going to set it on whatever timer we want. The water will spin around just like your washing machine at home. One thing I did forget to mention is over here on the dryer side, you have this little gizmo. I forget the name of this little gizmo. It may actually not have a name other than gizmo, but if you don't have this, you are in deep poo-poo because you won't be able to effectively spin dry your clothes. This adds a little bit of pressure to the centrifugal force, and it's actually what helps push the water out. I'll show you that in just a minute. But one thing I really like about the Kuppet is that it is clear, relatively. I mean, it's purple, but it's clear. So you can see your clothes while they're washing, and you can add more soap or add more water. This looks like a good amount. I'm just gonna let that wash. We'll be back. Let me show you how it hooks up here at a campground
Or RV park.
You've got your box here. I'm going to come around. Excuse me. Okay. So you've got your electrical box here. This operates on a 110 outlet. Now, if you're at a campground that for some reason only has 50 amp or 30 amp, that's that big black plug, then you may need an adapter. I ran into that in Alaska one time, of all places, but the campground was very willing to sell me an adapter for probably more than I should have paid, which was $30. But if you plug it in and you don't get electricity immediately, check the two breakers and flip them. That should take care of the problem. And here's the water spigot that I'm filling the bucket with. Now, I did say that on the Kuppet there is a hose that you can run from the spigot up to the Kuppet. The problem with that is your campground hoses are down here. The Kuppet is gravity fed, so I usually put it on the picnic table
To get the height so that it'll drain easier.
Alright, so this is quit spinning. I'm going to go ahead and switch the clothes over. Now you've got to do this to spin the water out and spin the detergent out. You know how your washing machine at home has that lovely spin and rinse cycle? Well, this one doesn't, so you're going to spin the water out. You've got to do it manually. Here's the lid or the gizmo or whatever it's called. It goes right in here. Underneath, there's a lip right here, and it's got to go underneath the lip of the spinner. Put that in there. Close the lid. I'm just going to go ahead and close this one.
And now,
we're going to get ready to spin. We're going to turn this button over to the 2. It's going to rock, and I'm just going to hold this hose right here to make sure it all goes where it's supposed to, which is right down here in the sewer connection at the campsite. You'll be able to tell when this quits running that your clothes have spun. And like I said, it very, very seldom takes longer than to about that 2 mark. And there you go. In that length of time, my clothes have finished spinning. The timer is just now on 1. I am going to go ahead and put this one over to drain, and that is going to allow this to go ahead and drain this side of the water even while this is spinning. You can run both sides at the same time
for washing and spinning simultaneously or what have you.
If you don't have access to a septic, you can just drain it right there in that bucket.
And dispose of it per regulations wherever you are. That takes care of washing. Now, after the first spin cycle, you're going to put the clothes back in the washing side. You're going to add water. If you're going to add fabric softener, just add like half a tablespoon. Keep filling it up with water and then turn it on. This is your rinse cycle. And just like at home, you may want to do this again for 2 rinse cycles. And like last time, when this side finishes, we're taking the clothes and moving them to the spinner.
And then boom, here comes the water, just from the spinner. So there we go.
And I'm going to rinse it one more time because I think I got a glimpse of soap suds. Usually if I'm using drops, I don't have to do this again. But just to be on the safe side, here's another rinse.
Right, this is done. So, it smells downy fresh. So back into the spinner. One last time.
And I did add some Downy to this last rinse water because it all would have been rinsed out had I not added that second little touch.
At this point, we are ready to hang these up. Some of you are probably asking yourselves, you know, if it hangs up to dry, how long does it take? And there's not a good answer for that. It's going to depend entirely on where you are and what the outside temperature is. Today, it's going to be almost 100 degrees in the south. The humidity, for once, is not terrible, because that's another factor. But in 100-degree heat, without a lot of humidity, it won't take it long to dry at all. Alright, so let's talk about packing things up. The Kuppet has a feature that the Best Choice and some other machines don't have. And that is, there is a filter on the washing side. So you want to check that after every full load that you do. And this doesn't look bad. So it just slides in and out right there. The spinner, just put this right in the spinner section. Close the lid. I like to put my Downy and Tide in here. Close that. Now around here, unplug the hose, and it wraps really nicely right here, kind of like your vacuum cleaner at home. This hose clamps right there. Those are the specs on the machine. For those of you who are running it on solar, you'll need those specs. So that's it. All that's left now is to give me a like on the video and subscribe if you have not already done so. Let me know your thoughts on the washing machine in the comments below. Always hashtag be bodacious. Don't let life or laundry get in the way of living. So again, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.